On the team representing the United States of America, David Toms.
Tom Lehman expecting a lot from Toms today. They've been perfecting their lies throughout the week. They'll do that again today.
Good opening tee shot by the American.
Europe, Colin Montgomerie.
He's got Tiger Red on today. Two very serious looking captains there. A bit anxious. But it's on the fairway. Good shot from Colin Montgomerie, Warren.
It's an excellent drive, and acknowledging the crowd there, Colin Montgomerie. They're not going to lose heart, but I did notice after that first tee shot, the ground down there very wet. Some of the bunkers are taking an awful lot of water, especially that one down the first on the left, just off the fairway. So maybe they'll struggle to finish this. Where the spectators are walking really has cut up, and it's going to take an awful lot of work once this event is over to get it back into pristine order that it was at the start of the week.
Oh, Michael Smurford suggesting that it's going to take 2 years for the course to be back to normal.
Only 150, but with the conditions, that's a 7-iron for Toms. Do a front left pin.
Good shot. Good safe shot from Toms. Down the slope. Tracking towards the hole beautifully. It was so close. Started with a birdie at the Belfry.
And he so wanted to do the same thing again. There is nothing Monty likes more than putting blue on the board early on, and there'll be nothing that Toms will enjoy doing more than getting red on the board ahead of him. So it's going to be quite a contest, I think.
Toms then for a 3 to win the hole and put red on the board right away. It's a good putter, Toms. So a half in 4 at the first between Montgomerie and Toms. And back on the first tee, Garcia and Sink ready to go. We'll go forward to the second, Jay. Toms is on the tee.
Shortest hole on the entire golf course, par 4 wise, uphill. Fairway bunker protects the left side. Tom's looking at that one very intently. Safely on the right edge of the fairway. Good angle. Pins cut just front right. Really playing to Montgomerie's strength when the conditions are tough and driving is so important as it is today.
Seems to be straight down the middle anyway, according to the man with the flag. That's all right.
And that hole is playing long. It's only 270 yards to that bunker, and Montgomerie's ball comes up short of the bunker. So difficult conditions out there for the players today.
Just 147 yards for Montgomerie.
Unlucky. That is nearly in the hole.
Montgomerie on the green in 2. Tom's coming up just short. Beautifully played, guaranteeing the 4, but Montgomerie will have a putt to win the hole.
Can Monty do likewise in the top match? Putt to win the hole. Came close on the first green. And he didn't putt like that in pairs in the first 2 days. Pretty bold with his putting. Might have thought he would have given that one a little bit more of a go there, conditions being wet.
First of the short holes, 170 yards here. Tom's still with the honour after 2 halves.
This is the short part of the course. The second is the shortest 4, the third the shortest 3. Players perhaps being lulled into a gentle start. His iron play has been right on the button so far, sending a strong message to David Toms. Well, it may be wet, it may be grey, it may be pretty damp, but it's a pretty good start.
Tom's coming down the slope for a 2 at the third. It's going to swing a bit, isn't it, from left to right, Jay?
Very definitely going to have a left to right turn. He just hit that through the break. That was nowhere near the right speed, and that's unusual for David Toms. He normally has such beautiful pace to his stroke and putts.
Had a lot of movement on that. He was almost looking at that very anxiously before he'd committed to the stroke.
Montgomerie, who had a chance to win the second, has now got a chance to win the third and put blue on the board. Excellent 2. And Colin Montgomerie moves 1 up on David Toms, and the crowd give him an extra special cheer.
And I know what Ian Woosnam will be doing for all the players in the team room. Having the television on, these pictures will be going in there.
From one bunker to the other for Toms at the 4th.
What about Carl Peterson from the European side? 2 wins in the United States this year, 6 top 10s, and he wasn't good enough to get in the side. So we've got plenty more depth still out there.
And did you mention Edford?
Oh, and yet, well, Edwards is coming on. He's 3 wins off a rookie season, but yeah, developing nicely, and this game is developing into a top-notch affair. And you've got to say, this is Colin Montgomerie at his absolute best.
Tom's putting for 5. He's been in 2 bunkers here at the 4th.
Big swing on this putt from left to right. There's a little mound in the way.
Well, he can't do better than 6. Montgomerie lying handy in 3. And Montgomerie goes 2 up, conceded. Birdie 4 to Tom's possible 6. Montgomerie 2 up after 4. Nice shot.
Montgomerie won't know how close Tom's ball is because they can't see the green. It's an elevated tee shot. They can only see the top 2/3 of the flagstick.
He's anxious. And that's why.
Well, that's quite rare from Monty. Made 1 mistake off the tee to follow it, missing the green with a wedge in his hand. Even he's pumped up. Well, another interesting decision. Monty elected to chip this one from over the back of the green. It's one of those we have seen players putt up the slope before, but maybe with so much water, ruling that one out because it would be very hard to judge. Get a lot of spray coming up from the aprons of the green.
And Tom's with a putt to win the hole to try and get one hole back at least against Montgomerie, who is very studiously not wearing a waterproof top, displaying that red. Monty's still got a longish putt for the half. And I'm sure that that's no coincidence that the Europeans have chosen bright red for the final day.
I think it's unusual, isn't it?
You think that's a little bit of
gamesmanship? It wouldn't surprise me.
Tiger, we know, likes to wear red on a Sunday. I don't know who has the choice of colours each day.
Apparently they don't consult each other, because yesterday morning they both wore blue.
In which case then it's even more surprising that they've not clashed in colours again today.
Yeah.
Or maybe we read too much into it.
Big putt for Montgomerie, this to save a bogey and essentially try and get a half. This putt will move from right to left.
Chances for him at the first two holes that didn't go in, and you always worry about that for Montgomerie. When he's started out hitting great iron shots, he needs to make the putts. He did at least make a good birdie putt at the third. If they don't go in early on, he can lose momentum.
Tom's a straightforward putt for bogey. Surprisingly enough, this is to win the hole and to pull back to be only one down.
Brenton was quite rightly making the point that there's a long way to go, but the danger for the Americans is that it could all be over very quickly if they don't make inroads on these early matches.
Second shot for Toms at number 6 with a wood. 478 yards, playing downhill. Very difficult pin. Tucked over in the back left of the green, just right of the water. Wow, what a shot that is for Toms. Very good.
That is a really good shot. Longest par 4 on the course, and traditionally one of the hardest holes. And he comes up trumps with a delightful shot with the rescue club.
They have won the last two, though. The last two Ryder Cups.
Oh dear. Well, I'm not quite sure what went on there, but complete misread from Toms and a bit of a misstrike at the same time. So a double whammy.
Regular Ryder Cup watchers, especially of the singles, will know how rapidly things change. 1 minute the scoreboard's all blue, the next it's all red, then a bit of blue and a bit of red. It will be drama and tension all the way.
Tom's out of the trees at 7, hitting to the island green. That one comes up short. He heard it nip a couple of trees. So David Toms in serious trouble at number 7. 1 down to Montgomerie.
Montgomerie was out in the lead match 2 Ryder Cups ago at the Belfry when he marmalised Scott Hoke. It was all over at the 14th. He loves going out first. Apart from anything else, he can set his own pace.
Toms may well be in that bunker front left. Looked as if it didn't carry. I know there's water there, but there is a bunker short as well. Steady. Steady.
I think the moisture kept that one out of the water.
Saw earlier on Lee Westwood, Monty's partner, yesterday screw it from the middle of that green back into the water.
that should be given for a 4, and his opponent Tom still has a 6-foot par putt after playing out of the bunker that Warren described.
And it was Tom's that took him all the way 2 years ago at Oakland Hills. Montgomerie making that dramatic winning putt on the 18th on that very difficult hole, and just standing there and dropping the putter. But it won't be easy for him if he sees behind that suddenly numbers are going a bit red. That will add to his burden, or matches are going a bit red.
Big putt for Tom's. He doesn't want to give away a hole to Montgomerie, who's such a prolific player, with only a par. Just a left edge putt. Hasn't really looked like he's had the feel for the greens yet. See if he can knock this one in.
We haven't seen for a while or two. I'm not sure if he's still there, but it was very notable that Corey Pavin, vice captain, was taking the players onto the first tee, and Tom Lehman was down the fairways with this lead match.
Well, there's the figure, the unmistakable figure of Colin Montgomerie up to 8th. Currently 1 up on David Toms. Played a safe shot away from the river Liffey, just right of the pin.
Well, it's taken 8 holes for Colin Montgomerie to get into a little bit of marshalling.
I told you guys before, it's not marshalling. He's waving at friends in the gallery. Come on now. This putt's going to be left to right. Birdie putt, not to win the hole. Tom still has a birdie opportunity.
That's never a good sign when Monty's leaving his putt short, certainly by that amount.
It's not a bad putt. You always think when you're putting towards water, it's going to be a bit quicker, the way the green drains and everything. So it's all in your memory banks over the years.
Well, strange thing going on here in the top match. Tom's misreading probably the 3rd putt of the day by some margin. Got it completely confused on 6, missed it a long way right there, and asking Monty to hole out his little shorty for a half.
Yeah, he made Montgomerie go through a lot of motions there. That putt was pretty short. I'm glad Toms gave Montgomerie that one. That one, there wasn't much in that putt to make him putt it. The crowd acknowledges the fact that it should have been given.
On the 9th, Tom's. Strange setup he has, because he has the right foot turned out, which is quite unusual. Most people, when they dress the ball, right-handers with the right foot, it will be at 90 degrees to the line of flight. He turns it out, which means he doesn't get a lot of leg action from the right side.
What it allows him to do is allows him to be a little more free in the turn away from the ball, and he's not a big player, so he tries to use that to his advantage.
2 big trees in the fairway. One on the left-hand side of the fairway, one in the middle on the 9th, 461 yards. The eye of the needle, it's called. The main task with the drive is to avoid getting stuck behind that tree in the middle. Montgomerie with a short drive at the 9th. It's a long way back. He may be blocked out by that tree that's gently going bronze in the middle of the fairway.
Most of the time the players have been close enough to the tree, if they've been behind it, to be able to go underneath. Montgomerie has 208 yards, so it shouldn't be in play. He's going to the right. A lot of water flew up on the contact. You can't go over that green. It goes down a slope. You can see it running away. A dangerous position you'll have to chip from.
And that really was a miscalculation, not even a pin at the back, really.
Montgomerie, a very difficult pitch. That's a classy shot from Montgomerie, who's not really known for his chipping and pitching, wonderful driver and iron player. Great recovery.
He was making the point that the Europeans can't be complacent. They didn't want to be complacent in any way, shape or form. They knew they had a task on their hand. They still thought this as being a very even contest.
David Toms to win the 9th with a birdie. Right to left breaker, considerable break. That would have moved quite a bit right to left as it died, but he just didn't quite have the elbow power.
He and Montgomerie are both about the same distance from the hole. This is where you look at, what do you say, good, should we? Well, or should we? Yeah, let's.
Who's got the nerve?
I think the reason they're not going good is Tom's is considerably further away from the hole, and I believe Montgomerie's putt has been given. So this to have the hole for Toms, and this is not a straightforward putt. It's going to break from right to left. Putt like this, the greens have lost a little bit of speed as the week's gone on because of the moisture. You want to go ahead, pick a line, just make a nice positive stroke.
He looks so easy over the ball there, doesn't he, with a putter in his hand.
I think players that are shorter in stature always look better with the putter than the taller players. It just looks like it fits them better. They're more comfortable naturally.
10th hole is 584 yards. It's beyond the reach of any of these players, certainly, in 2.
It's a difficult layup. It's a bit awkward because the fairway down in the layup area starts angling away to the right. It's not the widest layup area either. Imperative to get it in the fairway.
The only thing is, I suppose, in these conditions, it is a slightly wider layup area. If you're playing a very fast and bouncy course, it can be very narrow. But even so, I don't think he's found the fairway.
I'm not sure if it hit the fairway or not. It might have just plugged when it went in the fairway. Montgomerie's such a wonderful fairway wood player. I don't understand why they're playing woods, though. They don't really need to push the ball up the fairway that far.
In the hole!
Starting it off to the left, trying to cut it back into the fairway. Perfectly placed.
Yeah, remember Thomas Bjorn coming from 4 down against Justin Leonard at Valderrama. That's been done before.
He was 4 down after 4, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tom's third to the 10th in the top match against Montgomerie.
And that was have to say a poor approach shot. Left the club in the ground and far too steep an angle of attack. Meanwhile, to the 10th, Monty trying to force this one further up the green, and well, he has got a little bit further up than Tom's, but you'd have to say, for their level of ability, neither of those players would be happy with those approaches to the par 5.
The conditions outside have improved considerably. It's much warmer, and I think the rest of the day is going to be really very pleasant. You can see the sun is shining. The shadow of Tom's on the green there as he putts. It's going to come down the hill. It's a good pace, good effort, but he can't do better than 5. And Montgomerie will have the opportunity to go 2 up if he can hold his birdie putt. The fans have been particularly loyal this week, haven't they? In weather that hasn't always been clement. And the weather has been very difficult this week for everybody concerned, the greenkeeping staff, the players and the fans, but the fans have stayed loyal all week as Montgomerie for the 4 that would give him a 2-hole lead over Toms.
The 3rd or 4th putt he's left short today on line. a little bit more timid with his own ball than he is in four-ball or foursomes play. And that's probably the same as he's played for the last couple of years on the European Tour. As he gets a little older, maybe a little bit more cagey. Down the hill to the green. Well, that is just typical of what's happened this week. And you have to say the luck is with the Irish, but it's also with the Europeans.
And with the Scots.
Where's
Look at it
Fernando?
again. Look at this.
This had to go into the water, you would have thought. And he's now given him a good chance of a three, because it's even come out of the thick grass. What does David Toms think about that? Not a lot, I would have thought.
You are a very, very lucky man, Colin Montgomerie.
It's better to be lucky than good.
He can negate that, of course, Toms, if he can nestle this one in close.
They finished all square when they played last time in the Ryder Cup, so this was always going to be a reasonably close game, despite the fact that Montgomerie got 2 early birdies to go 2 up very quickly and hasn't been down. Well, I suppose if there's any fairness in life, Tom should roll this in for a 2.
Is there any fairness in golf?
No. For a 3, I should say. I beg your pardon. Julian giving the 3-fingered salute there.
I was a good Boy Scout.
A lot of turn from right to left, but it's over borrowed by Toms. Once again, he's not been able to figure pace and line.
Captain Lehman. He's looked anxious from the moment he's arrived here. And I wonder if at the end of the day he's going to be the man with the smile on his face. Who knows? Still all very tight.
The one thing we don't know at this stage, but will I'm sure find out before too many days have passed, is what went on in the American team room last night, and indeed in the European team room. What speeches were made, if any? What tapes were played?
Well, I know that Ian Woosnam had a superb motivational tape made for his team.
This man doesn't need too much motivation, generates enough himself, and if he can turn that wonderful piece of good fortune to his credit here, hole this putt, win the hole, that would be an amazing 3. But he's short again.
Wins that hole. 3 for Montgomerie. 4 for Montgomerie. I keep saying 3. I keep thinking it's the 12th when it's the 11th. Don't want to confuse you. Safe, reliable shot from David Toms, former US PGA champion.
Can't afford to get too cute with this shot today, because the pin is so hard. Cut on that left side, not much depth to the green. Only 13 paces deep if he takes a beeline straight at the hole. And this might be a little bit more awkward for Monty. He likes to hit the ball with a cut, which means he would have to set it over the water to get near the flag. Don't think he'll do that.
Good effort. Quality of golf is very high.
was Toms for his 2 on the par 3 12th. And he's also getting a little bit cagey. I think both men realising how important this is to their teams, a little bit of tension creeping in.
Everything looking very close at the moment, and 10 of the 16 matches over the first 2 days went to the 18th.
Dear, dear, dear. Colin, you'll need to hit them further than that if you're going to win this game against Toms.
The 2 matches, second and third, have a big difference, but everything else looks as though it may well be getting some distance. There have been very few matches that have been runaway wins so far.
It's all been a bit, as Renton would say, eeksy peeksy.
Well, I tell you, that went in, but my goodness, it went round the hole before it dropped and disappeared. He remains 1 up. He hasn't been down in this match, but they have halved for the last 7 holes in par. Watch the bunkers. Carefully positioned between them.
Somewhat wayward.
He would like to get 2 up, get just that little cushion before the very difficult finish here at the K Club.
Well, Monty has opened a door here for David Toms into the 13th. Short iron in. Ball a little bit above his feet, promoting a draw. Flag cut right, not easy. And that's very safe, very safe.
Montgomerie stays 1 up. We didn't see the little chip that Montgomerie played, but he did get his 4, and Toms made 4, so the Scot remains in the lead.
I think 215 yards today, where Casey got the hole in 1 yesterday.
It's going to be a good 3 iron for Toms. And that's okay, but this pin sets up nicely for Monty because it's cut over there on the right. He'll be able to cut one into that flag. That will be his stock in trade shot.
See if he can take full advantage. He does. Well called, Warren. Important for Montgomerie, I think, at this stage to get that cushion of 2 up.
There's Tom Lehman, skipper of the US side, just ahead. He knows the importance of this opening match to the whole contest because of the ripple effect. The fact that Monty for so many years has been the mascot for the Europeans.
Remember, Montgomerie is close here. Toms with a long raking putt coming down the hill. Looks pretty good to me. Oh, just on the edge of the cup. What a good putt from Toms, but it does give Montgomerie the opportunity to go 2 up. Now, Colin Montgomerie hasn't been putting all that confidently. But this is a putt which would give him a 2-hole lead, so he doesn't want to leave this one short. He's left quite a few of them short. But a very good tee shot, and he's got to benefit from that tee shot.
Fabulous 3 iron he hit in there.
He has. Well, Montgomerie goes 2 up at the 14th, 2 up with 4 holes to play in the top match that means so much to both teams.
can aim it down the left side and slide it. Aiming left is safe, but
not that far left.
That rough is thick.
We saw a couple of the Americans in the water here yesterday.
So Toms has tweaked it left as well.
I think he was one of the Americans in the water yesterday. And so he was making sure he wasn't going to go right.
Toms in the left-hand rough on the 15th, in where a few buggies have been driving. Fairly flattened rough there. Looks as though the line might not be too bad, although it's a question of whether which way the grass is lying. If it's against him, it'll make it a lot more difficult. The grass is lying flat, pointing towards the hole. It'll be much easier. 176 to the flag, and it's a beautiful shot.
Excellent. Toms is not an easy man to beat. He may be 2 down at the present moment, but you can rest assured he will fight to the finish. He doesn't want to lose this point.
Slightly worse lie here for Monty.
But I think the grass is lying in the right direction.
Well, he does pick the club up very high, normally at the best of times, but might even have to be a little steeper here. Chop on the back of it. Contact is not bad. Well, he's done well to get it on the green. Thicker lie. Not going to be an easy 2-putt from there.
If Colin Montgomerie gets it to within, I think, 7-8 feet of the hole here, he'll be doing really well.
Well, I think he might expect to do a little bit better than that, but certainly 3 or 4 feet, 3 feet, he'll have hit a very good putt indeed. The thing about this putt being downhill, he's been a bit timid with putts, so probably not to worry too much about pace here.
Breaks right to left at the end.
In between you and I there, I think.
Good putt. That was a good putt.
Certainly no gimme. It also means the one that Toms has is not easy either. But being a faster putt, I think this may well suit the American. I think these greens on this K Club course this week, they've not been overly quick. They've had water on them. It means that you've got to read less break into putts, and I think they've found that difficult. Here, with the putt being a little bit quicker, it may suit his eye better.
If it does still stay the same way, 17.5, 10.5 is the projected score, looking at the scoreboard at the present moment. Of course, that's just a projected score. It would be the biggest winning margin by a European team on home soil. They did win 18.5, 9.5 last time at Auckland Hills.
Belfry in 85 was the previous big win this side of the pond.
What a good putt by Toms, but it's come up short, and it's given Montgomerie the opportunity to hole a putt to stay 2 up with 3 to play.
And he may well view this putt almost like winning an extra hole.
Well, I tell you, if he misses it, it gives Toms the impetus going into the difficult closing holes. If Montgomerie holds it, he keeps the pressure on the American.
But he keeps the confidence with himself, and that's more important to Monty, I think.
Well done.
Got to say, he has been rock solid with putts from that sort of range this week. when he's been asked to hold the important ones.
Anywhere on the fairway would do for Colin Montgomerie here. And he's done the first bit rather well.
Not only in the fairway, the perfect position up the left side, better view into the pin. Have a look at the 15th hole there. Good drive by Montgomerie will give him the opportunity to go at that pin. Just across the River Liffey, this par 5 is a do or die if you're going to gamble and go for it in 2. And Montgomerie just laying up, decided, well, I'm 2 up, I'm not going to take any chances. He's already hit it in the water here twice this week, so Montgomerie taking the safe play.
I think that's sensible, don't you?
I think it is, definitely. No need to give anything away. It was a difficult shot, a shot he hasn't pulled off yet this week, so make Toms earn it. 2 up, 3 to play. Montgomerie's certainly in pole position. Toms, even though he's 2 down, is forced to lay up out of a poor lie, so it's all going to come down to wedge play.
Someone who is perhaps a little longer than Tom's, a little stronger than Tom's, might have tried to go for it. Pin at 17 on, 14-3 from the left, so the water very much in play.
Very tough pin. Just at the base of a mound. It guards the right side of the green, the narrowest portion of the 16th green. Montgomerie, an important shot here from 16th fairway.
Yeah, it's a shot where you've got to be very careful with the spin here. Oh, he's gone over the mound.
That will be a very difficult putt to get down in 2. He's going to have to go up and left and then straight downhill to the flag. It'll be actually a triple breaking putt. Tom certainly has an opportunity with a good wedge shot, and he is a great wedge player. Remember, he wasn't afraid to lay up on the 72nd hole where he won his PGA Championship from a so-so lie and used his wedge play and putting to beat Mickelson on the 72nd hole. Certainly he'll draw on that experience. He knows he can knock it close. He's not out of this match. Montgomerie's opened the door.
91 yards to go for Toms.
Just looking to use that backstop. Oh no, he's not. He's trying to play it the other way.
Well, I think it was a safe play because he didn't want to make the same mistake and follow Montgomerie. Montgomerie's going to really struggle to get down in 2 from that position. Very difficult putt to judge both the pace and the several breaks that he has. To get down in 2 would be just a phenomenal effort.
Do you remember David Howell, who had a not dissimilarly difficult putt on the, was it the 4th or the 6th? I can't remember, one of the par 3s at Augusta 2 years ago, and he chipped it. It was the only way he could get it to stop. Slippery one down the hill. And he got his sandwich out and chipped it to get some backspin on it. It was a fantastic shot.
Well, that shot wouldn't be out of order right here for Colin. He has a slight uphill lie, which he would help him chip it, like you said. If he just hits it in the edge of the fringe, that would help take some speed off as well. Of course, then you bring in the factor, does it come out of the fringe or does it stay up there? Literally, if you get it just over the hill, gravity should take it all the way down to the hole. Now you can see it starting to break back to the left. Could he? Oh my goodness, what an effort by Montgomerie. That is just an incredible putt.
But Tom still has a putt that could win the hole.
He does, but he's forced Toms to make it. He's 2 up with 3 to play, Montgomerie is. And really, he could have very legitimately 3-putted from that position. Great effort.
It was very, very close. He nearly got it so right. Tom's then with this putt for the hole. This to be only 1 down with 2 to play. What a moment for Tom's to roll in a putt. He hasn't holed too many today. In fact, he hasn't had a birdie yet. This would be for his first birdie of the day, but not to be. Oh, well, we better see that one in perhaps, or will Colin Montgomerie be generous? They rise for Colin.
I think he was generous with that one.
2 up and 2 to play.
That was very generous. Obviously, he's feeling comfortable with his position. I personally, you know, anything can happen in golf, especially on his last 2 holes. I might have been inclined to watch him putt that one.
The tree's tight on the right-hand side. You can't go left here.
And you don't want to go as far right as he went yesterday. If you remember, he was in the trees.
Trees with the grass cut down. It's low grass in the trees, which Woosnam did deliberately to give players a chance to shape shots out of the trees.
This must be dry.
He was dangerously left earlier in the week. It ended up as brilliant. And it's the same sort of place again.
I tell you. Oh, sigh of relief from Ian Woosnam if he was watching that one on a screen somewhere.
Well, I think Colin Montgomerie was a little nervous until that one hit the ground as well.
Well, I tell you, if Warren Humphreys was here, he's just gone away for a bite to eat. I'm sure he would be looking at you, say, Colin Montgomerie nervous? He thrives on this.
He does thrive on it, but doesn't mean you're not nervous. Toms has to do something special. He's got to win the last 2 to secure a half a point. That's a good-looking drive down the middle of the fairway. A very naughty pin here, only 3 from the water's edge. Should be an 8-iron for Toms, who's not a really long player. He could have a big slope from right to left going down to the pin on the left edge of the green. Can't leave anything in the bag. Can't play safe. At 2 down with 2 to play, Toms has to fire right at it.
If Montgomerie does go on to win this, it'll be his 6th singles win in the Ryder Cup, and Warren Humphreys tells me that Faldo and Oosterhuis and Casper and Palmer and Snead and Trevino have all won 6 singles. So Montgomerie, if he wins this, would become the 3rd European to win 6 singles. But he hasn't won it yet.
David Toms is a fighter. Is that one going to spin down the slope? Not really. Giving himself an opportunity. Montgomerie, let's not forget, is in the left rough, and not a dead certainty that he can play a good shot in there.
They leveled this green off a little bit. It's not as slopey over by the Liffey as it used to be. Not such a big right to left slope.
And Montgomerie shots out of the way, on the way out of the left rough. Played it aggressively, just right of the flag, a bit long, might have caught a flyer. All he needs is a half to secure his point, and is never having lost a singles.
This wins the match if it goes in.
Well, he's left himself with a tricky one. And remember, Toms can still roll one down the hill and into the hole and win the hole.
Toms does have a putt to win and extend the match.
Toms to win the hole and take this match down the last, which Toms would love to do.
Straight down the hill, not much break. Oh, could he do it? Oh, what heart David Toms has.
What a 3. Colin Montgomerie's not home yet.
It's a shame these guys don't make any putts. You could line up these putts and go all the way to Belfast with the putts we've seen go in today.
Maybe that's why Tom Lehman was there. He knew that Toms would make that comeback. But it's now even more important that Montgomerie wins this point here against Toms.
Every point is so important, even with the big lead that the Europeans have. Important that Toms drives it in the fairway. He does, not a very long tee shot, but he'll be able to reach the green in 2, and the pin is cut perilously. Well, we'll skip that word. Very close to the water on the left, only 5. I can't get that one out, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to try a second time. It's close to the water on the left. You have to know your limitations in life. That's mine.
The good news for the Europeans is that Westwood's had another birdie at the 7th. His 5th birdie to go 5 up against DeMarco.
And somebody suggested he might be tired. Not one of us, I might suggest.
He was definitely tired last night, but he's come out firing today.
Good drive by both players at 18.
If you were a betting man, you'd have to say at this particular point in the afternoon that the Europeans are going to do enough, I would think, to win the Cup, but still a long way to go.
All eyes now on this man, taking on the green here on 18, trying to close out David Toms.
Anything on the green is a good shot. Leaning a little left like it's going right. It is safely dry. Giving Toms a chance to pull one out. A long bunker shot with the water looming just behind. Tom's much closer to the hole in 2, so a much shorter shot. There's the view that Tom's has on the top of the hill, looking down at the green.
And he's got to be thinking, well, although he's dry, might make 4. It's a little bit of a sucker pin if he tries to get too close to this to make an eagle, which he may feel he needs.
He was aiming right, started right, trying to hook it into that pin.
Oh, it carried barely onto the green. Oh, his heart would have been in his mouth there, but a brave shot from Toms, no question of that.
I don't think he struck that ball really well, Warren. He had plenty of club to carry it well up into the green, so very lucky.
So anything can happen. It's why we love watching this contest all the time. Now, we mentioned the beginning of the week how difficult this bunker shot was when you got a long carry across the green downhill to a flag near the water. Oh, that is just a sensational shot from Montgomerie, and he's left himself one of those. He played the club face quite square there to dig it out, to play to release, make sure he got enough sand. He couldn't skin it, but quality of golf at the moment is exceptional.
He's left himself with the length of putt that he holed, if you remember, on the first day to get a half with Phil Mickelson and Chris DeMarco.
It was a very brave shot there. The water looming just behind the flag, downhill, as Warren said. So now, David Toms, you have to think he knows he needs to make this. You can't expect Montgomerie to miss a putt of that length when it means so much.
Can I just tell you that Casey and Furyk have halved the 15th and 4, despite the fact that we're both in close there after their approach shots. So Casey remains 3 up with 3 to play, needing only a half to win the point.
Captain Lehman putting a lot of his energy in this first game out with Montgomerie and Toms. I wonder what he feels the significance of this game is. Obviously has some.
Well, I think the message would be 2 down and 2 to play, gets a half. Anything can happen over the last few, and it may give his other players who are down at the moment some heart into the last 3 or 4 to make similar comebacks. But
difficult putt to get to the hole. Big uphill and a nice swing from right to left. Tendency is to leave this putt short.
It may still be Tom's to putt. Not much in it between the two of them.
Well, it's a strong finish, you've got to say. He didn't make a birdie all day until he got to the 17th. And even if you give him that putt, as I'm sure Colin in his heart of hearts will do, a birdie finish, that's good.
Well, it was all square when they met the last time. And there's a good chance it'll be all square if Colin doesn't hole this putt. Colin has this, Montgomerie has this to win the point for the Europeans, this to win 1 up. Roger Warren, president of the PGA of America there, just in front of Ian Woosnam, the European Ryder Cup captain. This might well be the last shot that Montgomerie ever plays in a Ryder Cup.
We'll go ahead and knock it in then, Monty. Expect he will.
And he does. He's held some vital putts in Ryder Cups. He held the winning putt last time at Brookline, and for the second time Montgomerie beats Toms by 1 hole in the Ryder Cup. It's a point for the Europeans. They now need 3.5 to win the cup, but Toms gave him a real battle, Warren.
And wasn't that one of the best? I'm not sure you could call it a sand save on a par 5, but that's one of the best up and downs to secure a point I can remember seeing in the Ryder Cup for a long time. Very brave once again. There's Woosie to congratulate Colin Montgomerie, and he knows the effect that well might have on the Europeans down the order. Blue wins the first match.
There it is again, another view of the putt that he held, and Tom's over quickly to congratulate him. And it was also very nice that Tom Lehman was in there saying well done to Colin Montgomerie. That's what the Ryder Cup is all about. It was all about sportsmanship, and this Ryder Cup has been played, I think we would all agree, in the most sportsmanlike manner.
To watch another Ryder Cup video, click here. And to subscribe, click here.